All right, we just wrapped up week 6 of the NFL season, and once again, I'm not sure there is any really good football teams in the NFL this season. The most wide open it feels like it's ever been. I'm going through, I'm ranking all 32 teams, 1 through 32. Let's not waste any more times. Let's start with our bottom tier teams, teams 32 through 24. Okay, the Jets stay here at 32, 0-6, the only winless team. And my God, they might be one of the worst teams we've seen in a few decades. Like, this team is horrible. Aaron Glenn is a terrible game manager, a terrible head coach, probably one and done in New York. They just can't get anything right. Tennessee wins the first coach fired of the year award. Brian Callahan is out. Cam Ward wasn't joking when he said this team is ass. They are just ass. Can't even get a fair evaluation of him. He's also looking kind of as a quarterback. Miami at 30. Stop wearing capri pants, Mike McDaniel. You're terrible. Dolphins choked this game away. They at least try hard, but they still can't win anything. This is a bad football team. Cincinnati at 29, slightly optimistic with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Like, keep feeding Jamar Chase and T. Higgins at least. Defense playing a little bit better. I don't know. Vegas, they get a win because somebody had to win against Tennessee. I mean, they could have tied, I guess. Still bad. Geno leads the league in interceptions. New Orleans at 27, they're okay. They're not good. They're definitely kind of bad, but they're not horrendous. They're whatever. Arizona losers of 4 in a row. Kyler out again. They got no running backs. Jacoby Brissett was fine. This team just is poorly coached, poorly managed. Marvin Harrison Jr. picks up a concussion. Cleveland at 25. Another horribly coached team. Stefanski's won coach of the year twice, and he looks terrible. How is Dylan Gabriel throwing the ball 50-plus times? Just run your running backs. He's not very good. He's a third-round quarterback. He's got a lot to work on. This is a really weird Browns team right now. And the Giants at 24, a massive win. We got the creatine Caucasians in New York. It's a frat boy party. Jackson Darton, Cam Scatterbo. Who knows how long this thing's going to last, but it's got the fans in New York feeling optimistic, still have an elite pass rush. Good defense, probably saved Brian Dable's job, but their schedule is so brutal the rest of the way. I just don't know how many wins this Giants team picks up. But let's move to our middle tier teams, teams 23 through 16. Okay, I got the Cowboys here at 24. Dak's been playing great. The offense is really good. This defense is dreadful. I mean, Dak was damn near perfect against Carolina. Still wasn't enough for them. Carolina at 22. Don't look now. Winners of back-to-back games. They're 3-3 on the season. This is clearly a team that is like pretty good and frisky at home. Terrible on the road. But Bryce Young behind a good running attack is starting to look like a real quarterback. It's nice to see Panthers lead the NFL in rushing. Who knew? Baltimore at 21. Defense was much better this week against LA, but still no offense to speak of. They really need Lamar Jackson back. Derrick Henry had a really big day on the ground. That's some optimism. Problem is it's going to be a little too late for the Ravens. Chicago at 20. I don't know how they won that game against Washington, but they did. Washington turns that ball away. The offense still isn't clean or crisp. Like, Caleb still makes bonehead decisions out there, weird throws, inaccurate throws, and the pre-snap penalties are killer, but this defense is feasting on turnovers, short field, and Jake Moody actually made a kick for the Chicago Bears. Atlanta at 19, another big win for them, but it's at home. The Falcons at home and indoors is a great and dominant football team. Still some hiccups here and there. Like, you can see the offense get bogged down a little bit. Bijan Robinson is probably the best running back in the NFL right now. He's been excellent. Drake London coming on, but I don't trust this team anywhere away from Atlanta, honestly, at all. Like you said, got housed by the Panthers a few weeks ago. Houston on a bye. They drop one spot. It just sometimes happens. Same with the Vikings here. Both these teams are led by a good defense, really struggling on offense. Both teams kind of banged up. I'm interested to see how they look coming out of the bye. And at 16, the New England Patriots, still not a great defense overall, just kind of out there, in a terrible rushing attack. This run game for the Patriots has been abysmal. But you got your franchise quarterback. Drake May has been excellent. You know, I've been hammering home the Drake May. We are day one Drake May fan clubs over here. He looks great. Some amazing throws. And this might have been one of the worst officiated games against the Patriots in the NFL you're going to see. It was ridiculous, some of the shit they were calling. So not a super impressive win, but I think the takeaways are really positive for New England. And guess what? They're back in first place in the AFC East. But let's get to what you came here for, our top 15 teams, starting out in sunny Los Angeles. All right, I got the Chargers here at 15, a big time win for the Chargers. All seemed lost. This team is so banged up, so dead. They got bodies nowhere, it feels like. Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey just find a way, set up the game-winning field goal by Cameron Dicker. Look, This is not nearly as good of a team as they could be, obviously, but they're scratching and surviving right now. Huge day from Kamani Vidal. I think he might have had more rushing yards in this game than he's had in his entire NFL career. The offensive line is the biggest concern. They cannot keep Herbert upright. I don't know if it's going to get better anytime soon. Joe Alt should be coming back here in a minute. The defense is still very suspect. Quentin Johnson was out. You can't afford that. It's nice to see Ladd McConkey getting back into the mix. No, he was great last year. Get him the ball. You have Quentin Johnson. Keenan Allen's old. I get it. Feels like you can plug almost any running back there in this scheme. So huge win for the Chargers. They really needed to get back on the winning record. And I think if they can survive these injuries, this is going to be a pretty good playoff team. Well-coached unit. And Herbert's been playing really, really good this year. Chargers here at 15. All right, Jags at 14 here. I don't know how the Jags beat the Chiefs, maybe because Trevor Lawrence wasn't a disaster, but Trevor Lawrence is awful, man. The offensive line for Jacksonville isn't good. The run game hasn't been good lately. Trevor Lawrence is just bad, man. He misses way too many throws. He's way too inconsistent. He's way too all over the place. Like, he'll have a throw every now and then that's just like, wow, what a spectacular throw. Great read, great play. He's been really good, under duress, moving, taking off, picking up those yards on the ground, but there's just so much meat left on the bone with him. Defense is really good in Jacksonville. Secondary got cooked a couple of times. They're banged up. They've been making trades. They've been trying to work some things out. This team's a bitch and a half to run against, though. Really tough to run against the Jaguars. Their front seven has been excellent. Devin Lloyd leads the NFL in interceptions. He's banged up, though. This Jags team is kind of a weird team. Like, if they get Liam Cohen's definitely moving on from Trevor Lawrence. If they get a real quarterback from this team, I think you're going to see more explosive plays from Brian Thomas Jr., more from Travis Hunter. I think this team is going to be able to take a next step next year, potentially, if they can go and grab a quarterback. But right now, Trevor Lawrence is holding back this offense and holding back a pretty decent defense. Weirdest win maybe of the season, Jaguars over Chiefs on that Monday night. Jags here at 14. All right, Washington down to 13. A dreadful loss for the Commanders at home against the Bears. Way too many turnovers in this game. Just sloppy play after sloppy play. I mean, Jaden Daniels fumbles the snap. I know it was pouring rain. It was misty. It wasn't even like a rain. It was like a misty rain. Daniels was just kind of inconsistent. Had a good night overall. 3 touchdowns, was distributing the rock. A couple of beautiful throws. Cliff Kingsbury was kind of in his bag in the play calling, but just the turnovers imploded this team. They were 1 yard away from basically salting this thing away, and they bobble the snap, fumble it again. I'm not going to put that on Bill. That's kind of on Jaden there. He threw a bad interception. It was just all sorts of weird play, but, this is what you see from a younger quarterback coming back from the injury. Sloppy game overall. And the Commanders' defense did an okay job, but not great at tackling. You're starting to see the age on there. Struggled to get after Caleb. I felt like consistently there were some pressures, but just not consistent enough. DeAndre Swift had his best game of the season by far. That's kind of concerning. So kind of a real letdown from Washington here, but I'm going to say the weather had something to do with it and Jaden getting back into the flow of things after missing a good chunk of time. Washington here at 13. Yes, San Francisco at 12. They lost. I'm going to keep them here. This list feels like just really weird, man. There is just a whole lot of mediocre and bad football teams out here. And God bless the 49ers. Like, clearly Mike Shanahan and John Elway cut a deal with the devil, Satan himself, because this team is so cursed. They're not even built on an Indian burial ground, the new stadium. Like, Fred Warner dislocates his ankle. He's out for the season. It's just another body. I think they had 1 starter left on offense from the beginning of the season at the end of this game. Like, Trent Williams is the only guy left. This team is so decimated by injury. The defense is banged up. The offense is banged up. Christian McCaffrey's kind of healthy. I mean, Juwan Jennings talking about I got 5 broken ribs and shit like that. It's just crazy what the Niners are going through. And they're not a bad football team. We saw some bad things from McCorkle over there. He was dropping back a little bit too much, running back. The retreat on the sacks, not good. Throwing the interceptions, just bad decision-making overall. But I think the 49ers are a well-coached team. They're just decimated by injuries. Probably going to end up free-falling here. But they're still in a pretty good spot record-wise. The schedule's not very difficult. And they've done a good enough job. Brock Purdy's eventually going to come back. The problem is also this team's bye is way down the road. They are not close to a bye. They're in real trouble in San Francisco. I wish this team was healthy because I thought they were going to be good. They're a good team, but they're just so beat up. 49ers here at 12. Pittsburgh at 11. This team is 4-1. They're going to run away with the AFC North, but they are the they're the good bad team or the bad good team. I think they're the good bad team. I'm just not really impressed with the Steelers. The defense has been better of a late, but it's still a very one-dimensional offense. Like, they're trying to force feed the running backs. Hard to get, they're getting a little more consistent on the ground. Rodgers throws like 3 routes still, guys. He still just throws like 3 passing routes out there. He's getting the ball out quick. He doesn't want to get hit. Him and DK do have a nice connection, which is the kind of receiver Rodgers does like to throw to. So there is some positives there. I just think the schedule's worked out really well for Pittsburgh. Still some weird coaching decisions. I do not trust this team in a close game late, especially against a good team. I think they'll try. I mean, even against Minnesota, they really tried hard to lose that game. They just haven't really played anybody. And the good teams they've played, they lost to. Lost to the Seahawks, lost to the Patriots. Or they beat the Patriots, but they needed 5 turnovers. So there's like 2 of the good teams they've played to. They beat the Browns. Who cares? Pittsburgh's a solid team. They're going to make the playoffs. But it feels like they're going to win like 11, maybe 12 games because of their schedule. And they're really like another 9-win Pittsburgh team that's kind of whatever. Not a serious contender in Pittsburgh. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. I got the Steelers here at 11. All right, Packers at 10. Good teams win. Great teams cover. The Packers are neither good nor great. They did win, though. They beat the Bengals, but you just saw 2 teams in your division bitch slap Cincinnati. And they kind of struggled again. I don't get the Jordan Love hype. People are still glazing Jordan Love. Like, he's getting bailed out by decent receiver play this year. It's still not great. He's way too inconsistent. Makes some bad throws now and then. Matthew Golden finally had a great game. 3 catches for 86 yards. I'd like to see him get the ball more. Josh Jacobs starting to run the ball a little bit better, which everyone seems to get their running game right against Cincinnati, but he got into the end zone twice. Great defense for the Packers when it concerns the run. I think they're the number 1 rushing defense in football right now. Still a little suspect back there in the secondary, which was the concern, but the good pass rush covers up for the bad secondary. So if they can get that pass rush back to what we saw earlier in the season, that'll cover up the back end over there. This is not a very scary team for me. This kind of feels like very underwhelming week in and week out. The offense will probably be the downfall. There's no consistency whatsoever. Tucker Kraft's having a nice year. Matt LaFleur also has weird coaching decisions in close games. I just don't feel any heat from the Packers. Packers here at 10. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs here at 9. Honestly, if the Chiefs had just beaten the damn Jaguars, the Chiefs would probably be sitting at like 2 or 3 right now. This is a team that I feel like is better than last year. Now, they're 0-3 in one-score games. They won every one-score game in the most ridiculous way possible last year. That's not happening this year. They're going to get back into it, though. If they lose 4 or 5 one-score games, they're going to pick up 2 or 3 wins here. And I'm not really worried about Kansas City. Honestly, why I think this team is better, the offense feels so much more explosive. Feels like they're able to get bigger plays than they were last year. They're able to move the ball vertically downfield. And Rashee Rice is coming back here after the suspension. I think it's going to open the offense up even more. We saw it get better with Xavier Worthy back. Travis Kelce's not looking so fat anymore. The run game's still concerning. They desperately need to go trade for a running back. I know Alvin Kamara's being a crybaby down in New Orleans, like saying he won't get traded. Bro, get the hell out of there. For my fantasy team, at least, go to Kansas City, because that's definitely who the Chiefs want, is Alvin Kamara. Get into that backfield, because they just don't run the ball. They did a good job with the patched-up offensive line. Still a weird hodgepodge of things. And the defense, it's a work in progress. Spagnuolo is going to get that thing figured out. They're getting better week in and week out. Chris Jones finally showing up in some big spots, because he definitely takes plays off now at this point in his career, but he was excellent late, and it was kind of a really comfortable win against the Lions, all things considered. And Mahomes is playing at an elite level once again. Don't want to hear any of this talk about Patrick Mahomes being washed and not that good and blah, 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 blah. He's playing as good as anybody is at the quarterback position right now this year. He's been excellent. Chiefs are a very scary team, obviously, moving forward. And it's kind of fitting in a year where everyone feels super average and not great. An average Chiefs team's probably going to end up dominating and winning this thing. Who the hell knows? But Chiefs here at 9 for now. I'm very interested to see what this offense is going to look like moving forward when Rashee Rice is back. All right, got the Seahawks here at 8. I kind of want to put this team a little bit higher, but they do have a few issues here. They are very banged up in the secondary. They did a pretty good job against the Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars will help you out if the Jaguars can help you out. So that was a nice matchup for them this week. But it takes a lot to go on the road and win. They're one of the better road teams in the NFL. That says they're a well-coached team. Sam Darnold is very good in the regular season. He's been one of the best passers in the league. But if it's a crunch time close game, those are the two Seahawks losses this year. Sam Darnold turnovers in a tight game. That's what happens. And I'm interested to see how they're going to adjust once teams start doubling Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's been phenomenal this season. He's become one of the top receivers in the game, but he's not drawing the coverages that those top guys have drawn. So I'm going to be interested to see what teams are going to do, take him away and force Sam Darnold to throw. Because Darnold really only throws to JSN. He spreads it out to the tight ends every now and then, but it's really the JSN show. What are they going to do if they're going to force old man Cooper Kupp to be their leading receiver? Did have a touchdown this weekend, though. And the run game is a little bit concerning. The run game's kind of falling apart. They can't get Charbonnet or Kenneth Walker going, and they just don't know who their starting running back is. They're like 12, 10 carries apiece. It's a really clunky backfield again, which is not what we thought we were going to see out of Seattle. And the pass protection was pretty good this weekend. So Seattle here at 8, I think ultimately what is their ceiling because of Sam Darnold in big games and the run game, and what are they going to look like on offense if they take away JSN. Defense is very good, but banged up. Seattle here at number 8. Okay, I got Denver here at 7, another team that's very similar to Seattle. Excellent defense and kind of a big question mark on offense. I think I trust the Broncos defense. I think they're a little bit better than this Seahawks team. Seahawks offense might be a little bit better, especially in the regular season. But postseason, who the hell knows? Bo Nix wasn't bad in the playoff game, but he has definitely regressed as a quarterback this year. Clearly a system guy. Teams have made adjustments, taking away what he likes to do, and the offense has really struggled in Denver. We can't get any sort of consistency from the number 2 receiver. Sean Payton doesn't know who's number 2 receiver is, and he likes to be a prick and rotate it every week. Who's getting the ball? Cortland Sutton's still very good. J.K. Dobbins has been really solid, but once you take him away, R.J. Harvey's been kind of a disappointment. Gonna have to lean heavy on the defense. I know it's been kind of a crazy travel schedule for the Broncos. Could easily be a one-loss team, the weird leverage play. So Denver's in a good spot. Win games. They got the Giants this week in New York. Need to get to that bye. Need to get healthy. Need to keep winning these close games. It doesn't have to be pretty. You just got to rack up dubs. I think you got to be worried about Kansas City, though, coming up in the AFC West. Denver's a good team. I just think the offense, only Sean Payton can glaze himself as much as Sean Payton does. My man loves looking at himself in the mirror. Offense not nearly as good. Defense is getting back to that point we thought it was going to be this season. Broncos here at 7. All right, we got the Buffalo Bills here at 6. I'm about to signal the alarm. I was worried last week about the Bills. A bad spot, though. Falcons coming off a bye at home. It was a bad spot for Buffalo. The bye could not be coming soon enough. This is a very banged-up football team. But we've seen Dalvin Cook kind of taken away the last 2 weeks. He was better this week against Atlanta. But still, if that run game isn't there, there's just no real consistency on the offense. The Bills' defense is not good. I know they got suspensions. They got guys banged up. They're getting bodies back, so that's going to help. But the secondary's bad, and they're bad once again against the run, and they're poorly coached. Sean McDermott is a bad coach, man. Sean McDermott took a poverty franchise in the Bills, made them a contender every single year now, but he's not getting you over the hump. He's not a good game manager. He's not a good schemer out there. It just is so very evident when you watch this team's play. And there's no real receiver for Josh Allen. They got a lot of cute gadget guys. Keon Coleman hasn't quite developed. I know Kincaid was out this week. The tight end, he's kind of been Josh's kind of go-to guy this year. They desperately need a body that's like, it's 3rd and 6, go get the first down, go get open. They need a route technician. They need somebody out there. They're missing a number 1 receiver. It's really obvious they're missing a number 1 receiver, and it's going to hurt them. I just don't know what they're going to be able to do. Thankfully, the rest of the AFC juggernauts, you just don't feel any heat from anybody besides Kansas City. So, Buffalo gets in the playoffs, probably going to have another date with the Chiefs. Indy, it's a cute story, but they got their flaws on their own. For now, though, bye's coming at a good time for Buffalo here at number 6. Rams at number 5. Kind of a choppy game from the Rams. Was not pretty whatsoever. Puka Nacua gets banged up. He's probably out this week. They're heading over to London. Stafford was efficient, but it still wasn't crisp. The run game was really bad in the first half. Defense was good against a bad Ravens team, but there are some concerns, especially with the 10 days off. I thought they would look better against this Ravens defense, and they were kind of flat, man. Once again, I think the age and the wear and tear are starting to get on this Rams team. Going to London here, need to get a win, come back. I'm assuming they're on a bye after this Europe trip, so we'll see what we're doing with the Rams here. Still very well coached. They have a good defense, which is a big, big plus. And Stafford in a tight game against good teams, you very much trust him. Let's see if he can throw the ball to somebody else, because we knew Puka Nacua was going to get hurt. You can only throw the ball 17,000 times to a receiver before he dies out there. We did see some uncharacteristic drops from Devontae Adams. That was kind of concerning. He's been pretty sure-handed for most of his career, and maybe the age is catching up to him there. So question marks here on the Rams. This is a team that's let some games slip, but they still feel like one of the best teams in the NFC. NFC slightly deeper than the AFC this year. And again, with all that experience, they're a dangerous squad. Rams here at number 5. All right, Eagles here at number 4, and a bizarre loss to the Giants, man. Another dreadful offensive performance from this Eagles team. And honestly, Jalen Carter should not mean this much to both sides of the football. Jalen Carter's out on the Thursday, and they're just bad on defense. They do not have the depth on the defensive line like they had. We knew that was going to be a concern coming into the year. The Super Bowl win, they got pilfered in free agency. Everybody got contracts to go play for everybody else. They just don't have the depth, and we've seen this team fade late in 2 hotter fourth quarters, and then a short week, they were just gassed, man. Secondary's also banged up. The coverages weren't great out there. Not a lot of bodies, but the offense, though. There's no issues on this offense. There's no excuse for this offense, I should say. Oh, the O-line's a little banged up. They're just not playing good. Those guys are not as good as they were last year. This new play caller over there, not good. He has no running games from under center, it feels like. We're getting nothing out of Saquon Barkley. He's only got runs out of the shotgun, and Saquon tips every time they run the ball out of the shotgun. If Saquon's getting the ball, head forward, staring it down. If it's a pass play, Saquon's looking around to pick up the block, because Saquon's not the best pass protector in the world back there. So defenses are clearly keying in on that. If the internet can figure this out, I know defensive coordinators can figure this out. Maybe not. I mean, you'd be surprised, actually. So maybe they haven't caught on to that yet, but it feels like it out there. There's no passing game whatsoever. The receivers just hate Jalen Hurts. And honestly, the calm, cool, and collected guy, like this is his thing, like that shtick is boring. Like, I don't know if he does it on purpose. He's not a good quarterback. He's average at best. Everybody's putting him in the top 5. I would never do it. This is why. Like, cool, you're calm and collected. Bro, show some fire out there. You need to have a little bit of dog in you. I mean, when things are going bad offensively, good God. Dallas Goedert's having a nice season, but you have 2 guys like Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and they just can't seem to get the ball to them on real routes. Jalen Hurts doesn't like to throw the football over the middle of the field. Another, really concerning thing. Eagles here at 4 just because they're way too talented, but we're about to find out. This is either going to be the best Eagles week or the worst Eagles week coming up here against Minnesota. Eagles at 4. All right, this might be a little high. We got the Colts here at 3, but the Colts need to be rewarded for winning football games, and the Colts are winning football games. This is a very well-rounded team. They have a very good balanced offense. Dimes is playing very well. Now, he threw one of the worst interceptions you're going to see this year. I don't know what he was looking at. Just trying to force the ball physically through the linebacker over there. That was crazy, but a great running attack. Jonathan Taylor has, again, another guy who's playing elite level running back this year. He's upped his pass protection game so they can put him in on more plays. They can change up the calls, and he is feasting. Tyler Warren, my favorite tight end in the draft, has been phenomenal out there, and there's been some good plays by the skill position at wide receiver as well. Kind of a slightly better Green Bay wide receiver room, right? It's a little deep. No crazy number 1 wide receiver, but I think it's a little better than Green Bay's room over there. And the defense is good up front. They're good against the run. The secondary is kind of like a red alert. Their pass defense is really, really bad. As much as I love Cam Bynum for celebrations and fun, he also struggles in coverage out there. So their secondary is terrible. They could use they need a real pass rusher. Go get Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati, or maybe Max Crosby from Vegas. Get a guy to go get after the quarterback, because that would really help out the secondary a ton. Colts are going to win their division too. I think they're going to run away with the AFC South. I just don't feel a lot of heat from everybody else. And Houston, just they got a lot of digging to do. So Colts are a good team. Ultimately, I just don't think they have a shot against these elite quarterbacks. They run into a Mahomes. They run into a Josh Allen. They're just going to be able to sling the rock all over this team. And I don't think the offense with the run game and Dimes is going to be able to keep up. But for now, the Colts are cruising to a potential 1 seed here at number 3. All right, Lions lost, but everybody else lost, and nobody else really feels any heat. And I don't even think the Lions are that good, but they're number 2 right now. They're 0-2 against good defenses this year. Bitch slapped by the Packers, kind of dominated by the Chiefs here offensively. they've struggled against good defenses. They've beaten up on bad teams, and the Lions love beating up on bad teams as much as anybody. The offense attack needs to get more consistency here. Like, we know what Goff's limitations are. If you can get Goff off the spot where he operates like a robot, he's a goddamn assassin out there. If he's standing still in the pocket, he will slice and dice you all day. But he feeds Amon-Ra St. Brown on those 3rd and 4th downs, critical spots. So if you can press him, get him off his spot, move him a little bit. He's just not a very good quarterback. The offensive line has been excellent this year. Still think they need to get a little bit more on the rushing attack. Feels just a little, it doesn't feel quite as potent as it did the last 2 seasons with Monty and Gibbs back there, which it should. Gibbs should be like, Gibbs is hitting his prime. I get it. Monty's getting a little bit older, just not as sharp. Defense is a little bit healthier. They're still pretty banged up on the back end. Aiden Hutchinson's been really good this year, getting after quarterbacks. What else is new though? Branch is suspended. This is a dirty ass defense. It's just like the Lions are always doing something extra. Nonsense shit. Dan Campbell is a well-controlled human being who acts like that, and his defense has a bunch of lunatics on it who can't control themselves. So they're always hitting guys late, and they're always doing something extra. And look, I mean, it's just bad luck for Detroit. What else is new? But they get Tampa Bay at home this week, and Tampa Bay is beat to shit. So the Lions will probably get a nice bounce-back win here in Detroit, but there are major question marks, just not as good as last year. Hard to be as good as last year, but again, in a flat season, the Lions are going to be a very competitive team here at number 2. And at number 1, by sheer will and determination, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are my number 1 team in the power rankings. Baker Mayfield's got to be your MVP favorite. He's been unbelievable this season. Never will I ever do a bigger 180 on a player than Baker Mayfield. I loathe Baker Mayfield, and damn it, I love Baker Mayfield. That 3rd and 13 run, oh my Lord, just gets you chubbed up right there. What an incredible run over there. Picks up the 15 and then throws an absolute dot to like his 15th string receiver over there who made a phenomenal catch, Tez. And that was probably the funniest interaction in the world over there. Tez makes this unbelievable diving catch. He's talking to Shepard. He's like, are they chanting MVP? They chanting for me? I ain't done shit this year. Like, no, they're chanting for Bake, my guy. Hilarious interaction. But it just goes to show you how good Tampa Bay has been with Baker Mayfield. They're so banged up, though. Emeka Ibuka's now out. Mike Evans might be coming back. Godwin missed this week. Bucky Irving still hurt. Defense isn't great. Defense is like not quite as good as last year. They're bad in the back end. They're good up front against the run, which is nice, but they're still just kind of bad. Once they get healthier, though, I mean, we had like 15th string offensive linemen out there, and Baker just finds a way to score 30 points a game. I'll be if the Buccaneers beat the Lions this week, the Buccaneers are probably going to the Super Bowl. I'll just go out on a limb right now and say that, because this team is just so banged up. But where there's a will, Baker's gonna find a way. They just win every close game. They're gritty, they're nasty. And once this team does get healthy, this offense is going to be probably the best offense in football. We have Emeka Ibuka, we have Chris Godwin, we have Mike Evans, we have Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, and the offensive line is very good, and they've been so banged up this year. So they're going to be able to cover up for any inconsistencies on the defense and the back end. But for right now, credit where credit is due. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here at number 1. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who am I too high on? Who am I too low on? What are your thoughts? What a bizarre NFL season. Everyone's kind of shit. Let's just be honest. Feels like everyone's just kind of Everyone's very beatable these days. Nobody feels great. Everyone just kind of feels okay. If you tell me next week the Cleveland Browns beat the LA Rams, they don't even play next week, but I wouldn't be that surprised. Again, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you want to support the channel more, sign up for a channel membership. You get all sorts of access to cool and exclusive perks. Help support me, allows me to keep making this great content for you guys every single day. If you want to go check out your team in person, head on over to SeatGeek. Use code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. That's SeatGeek.com. Code AfterTheReview for $20 off your first purchase. Check out the links down below. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.